In this video, I wanted to talk about one of my biggest disappointments in the last couple of years, and that is that I failed the Boston qualification for 2026. Now, this was significant. In April 2024, which was about a year and a half ago, I had released some videos all over social media telling people that my goal was to qualify for Boston 2026. Now, here's what happened. I trained for over a year, and then in April of 2025, I realized that the injuries that I had suffered, and I'll get more into that in the later video, were too much and my times were not improving. So I relinquished that specific goal and I took time off of running. But here's some context. Just yesterday on social media, the Boston Marathon Association released the numbers for the people that are actually qualified and their applications were accepted, and it was staggering. There was almost 9,000 people that were not accepted to race the Boston Marathon, and that's crazy. So that's 9,000 people, just under 9,000, that raced the qualifying time for the Boston Marathon, and they were not accepted to race. Unbelievable. Here's the next thing that I wanted to say. Despite the fact that I'm telling you guys that I was injured, which I was, I suffered a major ankle sprain about a year ago, playing soccer, actually, probably not the smartest thing, but I love soccer. After that, I also had a shoulder and then ultimately a core injury. All of those ended up being really significant, especially the core injury. I got that from working Amazon, delivering boxes. With a shoulder injury, I overcompensated, I injured my core. Long story short, eventually I realized that the injuries were too significant and my training was not paying off. So I relinquished that specific goal, at least of running 2026. But here's the thing. Even if I didn't get injured, I'm telling you right now, I actually don't think I would have qualified. With how strict Boston Marathon has actually gotten, I'm trying to humble myself and let anyone out there who's listening know that I'm not making excuses for the injury. The injury sucks. It really does. At this point, I've had 4 or 5 months to think about it, and it honestly really sucked that I got injured and I didn't even get a chance to race. I had signed up for the Last Chance Qualifier in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It took place on September 7th of 2025, which was a couple weeks ago. And I decided not to go up there because even though I started to run again about 2 months ago, my running has been very light. I'm starting to build up my mileage now. But as of 3 weeks ago, there's no chance in hell that I would have been anywhere close to the qualifying time. And with financial considerations to consider, I didn't want to spend money on a flight, a hotel, a car for a race that I knew I had no chance at. But this is what I'm telling you. Even if I was completely healthy, I don't think I would have made it. That's not me thinking negatively. That's me being realistic. There are thousands of people out there that did not make the cutoff time, or sorry, not the cutoff time. They didn't make the application being accepted. So they had the cutoff time. For me, I'm 36 years old right now. I am going to be 37 in April when people line up, about 30,000 people in Boston to run the Boston Marathon. I would have needed to run approximately a 7:03 pace per mile, I think is what it was. That wouldn't have gotten me there though, and that's the thing. Every single year, the Boston Marathon has gotten so much more competitive, and this year was no exception. In fact, on the Instagram post, it made it very clear that this year was way more competitive than any other year. They accepted, I think, just over 24,000 applications, but they received about 35,000 applications. So that's almost 9,000 people that didn't get accepted. And then I think it's going to be about 30,000 people that race, and they plus that up with numbers from a bunch of influencers, charities, and all sorts of other things. Nothing against influencers or charities. I guess technically I influence a little bit here on my YouTube channel, but that's not how I want to get in. I want to make the cutoff time, and I also want my packet to be accepted, and it's going to be tough. But hats off to all of those Boston qualifiers that made it. Also, hats off to all those people that didn't make it. I know there's a lot of people out there that are really, upset and disappointed. And truthfully, I'm still disappointed that I didn't make it. I think for me, it's a little bit different because I've had about 5 months to let it sink in the fact that I'm not going to be on the start line in April of 2026. So it's a little bit different than the people that just got the disappointment yesterday that they didn't make it. Not that I'm not disappointed, but like when you've had months to process something, it's a little bit different. And plus I was injured. So I think in my head, I can kind of be like, okay, well, I was injured. I kind of have an excuse or whatever. Not that that didn't make it, like it was still really hard for me for sure, but it's a little bit different. Like all these people that trained for like an entire year and they still didn't make the Boston Marathon, qualifying time. A lot of them did make the Boston qualifying time, but because of how competitive it is, they ended up getting a letter in the mail or an email or whatever saying that they did not make the cutoff to get on the list for Boston. And that's significant, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are very, very upset, disappointed, and discouraged. Here's my message to you guys, because for one, if you're one of those people that trained for so long and maybe you were injured and you came back, or maybe you weren't injured and you were able to actually run your race and make a qualifying time, I want to congratulate you for one thing. Hopefully someone else has congratulated you for that, because even if you didn't make it on the list, but you were able to make that cutoff time, I want you to know that you should be proud of yourself. I mean, damn, if I had been able to go up to Grand Rapids, Michigan and run a 7:03 pace in the marathon, I'd be proud of myself for sure. And that is something. Now, I know the times vary. If you're a female, you're going to have different qualifying standards. If you're in a different age group, like if you're in your 40s as opposed to 30s, you might not have to run quite as fast as me. And if you're in your 20s, you would have to run faster. But my point is, no matter what the time is, my age classification is very competitive, but there's a bunch of them that are competitive, and you should be proud of yourself no matter what. Here's my other message. Don't give up. I'm not giving up. Even though I got injured and I wasn't able to race in September, and I'm pretty much telling you right now that even if I was able to race, I don't think they would have selected me. That time is so incredibly difficult to run 7:03 pace for a 36-year-old man. And I'm sure all of the different classifications are also very, very competitive, but my age category is extremely competitive. I'd say there's almost no way that I would have made it, but it's the journey itself that makes this, worth it. It's the body composition changes that I experienced over the last year. Even though I was injured and I didn't even get to go up and race, I mean, I experienced so much from trying to train for Boston. I became a better person. I became more motivated. I became more disciplined. I lost weight. I've started to see a lot more muscle definition because I used to be well over 200 pounds. So there's so many good things that came from me trying to qualify for Boston. And I want to put out that message to any of you out there. If you're discouraged that you didn't make it, like, congratulations for one thing for trying, especially if you made that cutoff time, or even if you didn't, congratulations for trying to do it. And if you're like in my position, like, I know I'm not the only one that would have gotten injured. Congratulations to you as well for just trying to do it. But don't give up. The journey is not over. April 2027 is going to be here before you know it. And I am absolutely setting my sights on Boston Marathon 2027. I'm super excited for all the people that were able to make it for 2026. I'm definitely discouraged that I wasn't able to be one of the people there, but I'm motivated, I'm hungry. And even though right now my miles have only been between like 20 to 30 per week, I'm trying really hard to make sure that I don't re-aggravate some old injuries, and I'm slowly building it up. I am starting now to do lower level marathon training, and I'm going to be up in my mileage, and I'm absolutely setting my sights on 2027. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say today for this video. But I wanted to encourage any of you that didn't make it, and really congratulate you. If you're in that bracket where you just barely weren't selected, but damn, like, that is a tough cutoff. So you should be proud of yourselves. And let me know in the comments if you made it for the Boston qualification, or if you just barely didn't make it, or if you were injured, or even if you just are just someone that has never attempted to run the Boston Marathon, have no interest, but maybe you're a runner and you're just trying to get yourself, motivated to like do a 5K or a 10K, wherever you're at. I want to inspire you to take a look at where you are and try to push even harder for that next goal. So thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.